Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com. Hello everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of Past the Wires, Saratoga today, 2021. Opening day of the meet, and Saratoga, it needs no hype, it needs no introduction. It's one of the most anticipated racing meets in the world and has been for many, many years, and that's for a very, very good reason. This year, we all know, is a little bit more escalated on the excitement and anticipation side because last year we ran there without fans. The fans are back. I heard from trainers, or at least saw on social media, from trainers heading to the barn at 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, that fans were already gathered waiting to get onto the grounds and make the mad dash to the spots that they want to get for the day and the picnic tables and whatnot. So it's going to be an exciting meet, loaded with opportunities, loaded with great racing, and we're going to cover it all for you with Saratoga today. And before we get started, I want to thank Amwager for helping make this show possible for everybody. They are a very, very state-of-the-art ADW. You'll see their commercial also on this show, and I hope you at least check out all that they have to offer, because they have quite a bit to offer. Got to thank Zilla Racing Stables. They're helping us make this show happen as well. We'll be following their horses throughout the meet. They'll have live ones in there, and we will be rooting for them. And when they win, we will make sure that they get their due, because winning at Saratoga is a special thing. Everybody who goes up there points for that meet. Everybody tries a little harder. Everybody is just a little bit more into it. Everybody just ups their game for the Saratoga meet. And it's been that way historically for years and years and years. What we're going to do on this show, every morning at a race meet, we're going to put out a show. They're not going to be very long, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to talk about some horses that look okay, some horses that might be vulnerable, some angles, who's hot, who's not, who's due, what's going on, trends that we're picking up on, different things like that, tidbits and information that we'll share. And I'll come back to information in a minute, because I just want to say we'll be talking about a lot of different things. We'll be learning a lot of different things, and hopefully we'll make a couple of scores along the way, because scores at Saratoga just have a little bit of a better feeling than scores anywhere else. And I've made my share of them, so I know that most of you have as well. And if you haven't, maybe this year we can maybe help make that happen for you, and we will certainly try. Any news or interesting things like that, we will touch base on that. The big news of the meet is Bob Baffert won his injunction stage of his case against Naira for the ban, so he is eligible and allowed to run horses during the meet. Will he? I don't think we know that yet, but he fought hard enough for it, so stands to reason that we may see some Baffert runners up at Saratoga, and we'll talk about that and those horses if and when it happens. Couple of things to remember. It's a long meet. Used to be the August place to be. Now it's pretty much the summer place to be. No reason to rush into anything. No reason to jump into anything. It's always a good idea at the beginning of the Saratoga meet to kind of see the way things are unfolding and going. And I've noticed over the past several years something that I haven't really studied or looked back at charts. I just make my little observations and mental notes and kind of go with them. First couple of days tend to be a little chalky. And that changes fast at Saratoga, and we all know that. It's not called the graveyard of favorites for no reason, but sometimes it gets a little chalky the first couple of days. So today looks like it could be one of those days. Now you say that, and you wind up getting bombs all day long. That happens, but you got to play the cards that you dealt going in, and we'll talk about that as we go along. Next thing that I want to start with before we get into the card, tips, information, things like that. The best way for me to say it is everybody loves their horse at Saratoga, okay? Especially in these baby races. You got these 2-year-old races. Everybody's pointing for them. The horses are training well, most of them. Most of them are not getting a race. They've already been given a race, or they're trained, ready to go. Because everybody wants to go up there and win a race or make a good showing. Everybody knows all the eyes are on them. Nobody really wants to go up there and get drilled or run a short horse. And my experience over the years is no matter how sharp a trainer is, it's a little difficult for them to be objective about a horse in a race, because a trainer talking about their horse and connections talking about their horse, no matter how well meant or good or talented that horse may be, it's kind of like somebody talking about their kid. They're a little bit biased. They're not sometimes fairly and adequately analyzing the competition and the circumstances, conditions, and factors of the race that can play into how the race unfolds and the ultimate outcome. So tips, information, trainers loving their horse, I take with a grain of salt. I don't listen to anybody's opinion, honestly, and haven't in as far back as I could remember. I like to bet my own opinion and play my own opinion and live, die, or whatever with my own opinion, nobody else's. And that goes for trainers, owners, riders, agents, doesn't matter. But the opinion of an astute, sharp handicapper, in my book, is more valuable most of the time than a trainer telling you, oh, I love my horse in this race, or I love my horse in that race. Now, there are exceptions, and some of those horses will win and can win. Most of the time, they're very heavily bet. And you don't need anybody to tell you that they're live, because the board and the money will. Follow the money is, an accurate statement in those situations. And when 3, 4, 5 trainers, like in some of the baby races today, all love their horse, what are you going to do? Put numbers in a hat and pick one? Listen to the guy you like the best? No. Go by your own opinion. Handicap the race, look at the race. I love the baby races. I love races, contrary to most people, where we have less information as opposed to more information, because it gives us an edge on computer players and other players, because you need some raw talent to decipher those races. You need years of experience to decipher those races, and I've been doing this a long time. So, tips, take them with a grain of salt. Go by your own opinion. Go by your own gut, your instinct, that feeling that you get when a horse is live or meant, as opposed to somebody loving their horse. They all love their horse. I think it's better when somebody tells you, listen, my horse ain't ready. I don't like him today. That's more valuable if it's honest information. And even those horses sometimes jump up and win. Horses that are put in races to fill the race for the other horse jump up and win. We all know the guy's other horse jumps up and wins many times. So information, overrated in my book. Anyway, let's look at the card. The first race, 12-5 Claimer is not exactly the way that we expect Saratoga to start, but that's what we got. And we're not going to go over every race, every day. That's not what this show is going to be about. But an interesting thing in that race that I noticed is that Robertino Diodoro, who's obviously here for the meet, has two horses in there. Irad's riding one, and David Cohn, who's kind of like his main guy, is riding the other. So I just think it's interesting to watch and see who the live one and the well-meant one is, because I got to think that David's here primarily because, or at least for a large part, because of Robertino Diodoro. So you would think he should be getting the pick of that barn and the live ones and the ones that are well meant. Irad doesn't play second fiddle to anybody, especially in New York. So it'll just be interesting to see how that dynamic unfolds, and we'll get a chance to see that in the first. In the second race, no big revelation here, but you've got three horses. I believe four horses that had one start. One of them is two of them are actually pretty good races, and a bunch of first time starters and tips all over the place. Okay, I must have heard about half a dozen of these guys love their horse. I've got nothing creative in that race whatsoever, except all of those horses can be live or not. I tend to lean very heavily on the outside horse Speedometer, who's got to start for Steve Asmussen. Morning line favorite, probably be the favorite unless one of those firsters is really, really good and regarded and takes a ton of money. Grand Motion's horse ran good at Delaware, I believe, but I don't think those horses are anywhere near the caliber of these. And I've got a feeling Steve's horse is fast, can go forward, can do whatever he wants on the outside with Ricardo Santana, and looks to me to be a short-priced winner. Third race, tough race. Our guys from Zilla Racing Stables are partners on the 3 Smile Brian. Looks in tough to me, but Orlando Noda does play a lot of that game of moving horses way up and then dropping them way down and trying to find their right level. So, him going from $20,000 and $40,000 claimers into a, non-winner or one like this is not really that rare. He does that. He runs them where he thinks that they can be competitive, and it bears watching. But that race looks like it came up pretty tough, and he's going to be up against it. But he does have speed, and it's only a mile on the grass, and the grass at Saratoga, that'll be the first race that we see over it. So who knows how it's going to be playing, especially for a horse on the inside with speed, with Luis Saez. I always love inside horses on the grass with Louis. He has a tendency to get out there and keep him going. He's an aggressive rider, even on the turf, which, we all know the Naira story. A lot of guys just don't seem to be aggressive and want to wait on the turf and let those races get stolen on the front end. Louis not likely to do that, so maybe that horse can run better than I expect him to. The fifth race is another 2-year-old race. I can say that I have no idea who's going to win it. I'm glad that I don't have to bet it. It's one that I would like to watch and kind of get a gauge on. There's a half a dozen tips in that race as well. Echo Zulo is an Asmussen horse who's bred to win early. Brad Cox's horse has got a race under the belt. Looks good. There's so many possibilities in that race, and everybody's trying to win it. Now, interestingly, the 2 stake races look to be dominated, at least on paper, by Wesley Ward. He's got Golden Pal and the Quick Call, and for those of you who remember Quick Call, he was a Saratoga freak. Loved Saratoga, won there just about every year of his career, except I think maybe for the last one, but won a ton of races up there. A heck of a sprinter, especially at Saratoga, and deserves a race up there named for him because he did a lot of damage up there. Golden Pal won the Breeders' Cup from the far outside, dominating fashion. Ward has said that he is excited to bring him back here and waited to bring him back later in the year because of the sprinting stake schedule on the grass. Obviously, they're looking to go back to the Breeders' Cup. I've got no doubt he's ready, and he just looks flat out faster than anything in here at a very, very short price. I would say 1 to 5, 1 to 9, something like that. And that kind of makes value in the late pick 4 and the pick 5 and even the pick 6 challenging for opening day. And like I said, has a tendency to be chalky, and looks that way today, and that's fine because, like I said, this is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a long meet. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. There's nothing wrong with just taking a few shots and little plays here and there today and seeing what happens. And we live to fight another day. The Schuylerville is a little different. Happy Soul, off those big wins, and she's got more experience than anybody else in there, for sure. She looks a little bit more vulnerable to me, and somebody that I might like to take a shot against, and that may help the value situation. So especially if you're right. There's a couple of horses in there. The 9 Cartel Queen on the outside, Tom Amos's horse, who puts blinkers on with Irad up. Already showed the ability to run from a little bit off the pace, and I think from outside, even with the blinkers, she might be able to sit a trip. You got a lot of these horses, Ward's horse aside, who's got a couple of dominating wins. Run Happy filly that's just dominated her last 2. She did get beat first time out, though, so she's not undefeated or, quote, unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm not a big believer in buyer numbers, but Velvet Sister visually was very impressive to me. She got a lower buyer than a lot of these other first-time winners, one-time winners. But even the sheet numbers and Thoroughgraph, which I use, when a horse only has one race, there are so many things that could happen in that next start. So the number doesn't really mean as much as it might mean in other circumstances. And while there's horses number-wise that might look faster than Velvet Sister, I think that there was plenty in the tank, and I think that she's a little bit scary and has every right to be as fast or even faster than Happy Soul. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, but I think that she and Pipeline Girl, the other Amos horse, can definitely be interesting in that race and be alternatives to Happy Soul, who I think is going to be overbet. And we know there's going to be a lot of horses that do get overbet during this meet. Irad Ortiz, Chad Brown, certain other guys. When people get hot, it doesn't take long for people to zero in on them at Saratoga. And that creates 2 scenarios. That creates a scenario where you can, ride the wave and, get some winners that are a little shorter than they should be maybe, but getting them home and, finding value around them. There's nothing wrong with that scenario. And, if you don't like them, betting against them, you're going to get a little bit of a boost on the price getting around those horses. So if I get involved in these late races today, I'm probably going to take a shot against Happy Soul and, see if we can do some damage that way. But it's opening day. We're going to be back every day. We're going to get our opportunities. We're going to find some live bombs. Hopefully we hit our share of them, and I don't think there's anything we're going to miss. We're going to zero in on everything. So hope you enjoyed the first show. Not a lot in the way of wagering for opening day. Like I say, it's just not that kind of a card. Let's get into the groove. Let's see what happens. This show went about 18, 20 minutes, a little longer than most of them are going to go, but it was the first one, and we rambled a bit. But thank you to AmWager. Check out the ADW. A lot to offer there. A lot of tools that other ADWs are not offering. We'll be rooting for Zilla Racing Stable. They're helping us bring this show to you guys and gals. So thanks to them. Hope you enjoyed it. We will be back tomorrow and every other race day for the meet. So that said, ciao for now.
Vino Rosso has taken the lead. And it's a vintage performance by Vino Rosso.
does it better.